Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everybody out there tuning in to the Statkun Report. This is Liberty Revealed with your host, me, Ken Statkin. Today I want to talk about some breaking news. Maybe you've already heard about this, maybe you haven't, but I want to get into the vice presidential pick for the radical left Harris campaign. So they decided to go with Tim Walz. I made a prediction the other day that they were going to pick Josh Shapiro. His camera crew was really pumping him up and grooming him. I think he was really hoping to be chosen for that vice presidential pick. But why didn't they pick Josh Shapiro? This is the question I think a lot of Pennsylvanians are asking right now. And I'd like to think that I have the answer for you. I think that the Harris campaign did not choose Josh Shapiro because he is Jewish. Now, I personally don't like Josh Shapiro. I think he's a greasy, slimy, smooth-talking politician who tries to replicate Obama's form of speech. I've witnessed this several times in his interviews, but I don't have anything against him because he's Jewish, whereas the Harris campaign, their voter base and their support base comes from a lot of pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas supporters. And Hamas is a terrorist organization. This is not a conspiracy. The Biden campaign, the Biden-Harris campaign, support and fund the Taliban. Every week we send millions of dollars to the Taliban. This is, I'll say it again, not a conspiracy. This is proven. I don't have the exact number in front of me, but I could get it if you guys wanted it.
Yeah, I could say it right here, right now. American taxpayer money, your tax dollars, are funding the Taliban right now. And this has been going on since September 2021. On a weekly basis, the United States, the current administration, Mr. Joe Biden, has been sending $40 million, not from his own checking account. It's the U.S. payers, Americans' tax dollars. He's sending them $40 million cash every week that ends up in Afghanistan. And it's a very complex system.
But this has been proven. They fund terrorist organizations. And having Josh Shapiro on their team would not look good for that base, that support base. Now, Josh Shapiro, despite all his flaws and all his wrongdoings, would have probably been a better choice than Tim Walz. And here's why I say that. Because, and if you don't know who Tim Walz is, he's the governor of Minnesota, and he basically, he incited the riots in Minneapolis in 2020. This guy has a whole rap sheet on him. And honestly, I've never seen a more miscalculated move by the Democratic left. They've made a lot of bad decisions, but this is probably one of the worst ones. So getting into kind of who is this freaking clown, and that's just my opinion. He is a clown. He's a socialist. He's a self-proclaimed socialist. He said so in a video.
But we can get out there, reach out, make the case. And for one thing, don't ever shy away from our progressive values. One person's socialism is another person's neighborliness.
I want to kind of get into who this guy is. And before I do, really quickly, though, I just want to say, that I need to try to stay on the facts here, right? I think that's really important. Some really close friends of mine kind of reminded me of that in my last episode. I kind of, I get fired up. I'm very easily, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm very animated, and I'm very passionate about this country. I'm very passionate about my patriotic beliefs and the love I have for the American citizens here. And so it's very easy for me to give my opinion and to really get fired up, but I don't want to get off topic or lose focus of the mission. And the mission is to bring you guys the facts, to help you guys make an educated decision for the future of this country and the future of our brothers and sisters, our American brothers and sisters. protesters. So who is this clown, right? This guy, all right, do you remember what happened in Minneapolis, 2020? The George Floyd riots broke out. This guy was the governor. He was in charge. He was at the helm. And what did he do? He prevented the National Guard from deploying because the city submitted the wrong paperwork. This is a fact. You can look this up. But I want to show you guys some video clips really quickly to kind of remind you of what Minneapolis was like during 2020. Check these videos out.
You want to make this about black lives? You want to talk about black lives? Think about all of the people who sacrificed their black lives to build up their dreams here. Think about all the black lives that live in this neighborhood that now don't have a grocery store to go to, that now don't have a Target to go to, that now don't have a gym to go to, that now don't have anywhere to work out, that now don't have anything. Think about those black lives the next time you go out destroying, the next time you go out looting, the next time you react in violence.
These people did this for no reason. It's not gonna bring George back here. George is in a better place than we are. And last night, I'm gonna be honest, I wish I was where George was because this is ridiculous. These people are tearing up our livelihood. This is the only place I could go to shop. And now I don't have anywhere to go. I don't have anywhere to get there.
So I think we all remember, the entire city was on fire. The Black Lives Matter protesters were smashing businesses of, small businesses owners, people who had nothing to do with anything. They lost their businesses. They had their personal property destroyed. And the few protesters that were caught, surprisingly enough, not even really that surprising, Kamala Harris helped freaking bail out. She helped bail out these people.
Harris sending this out on X. If you're able to chip in now to the Minnesota Freedom Fund to help post bail for those protesting on the ground in Minnesota. Thanks to Harris's promotion, the group reportedly raised $35 million in just a few weeks.
Darnica Floyd, charged with second-degree murder for stabbing a friend to death. And she got out of jail, too. A twice-convicted rapist, currently charged with kidnapping and sexual assault, and he walks out, too.
The Freedom Fund raked in donations when it was promoted by many, including now Vice President Kamala Harris.
Sean Michael Tillman shot and killed a passenger on a train platform after reportedly being released from jail 3 weeks prior. All thanks to the Minnesota Freedom Fund.
Donovan Boone was charged with breaking into the home of an ex-girlfriend and choking her. Freedom Fund bailed him out for $3,000 cash, and he hasn't shown up for court since.
I often don't even look at a charge specifics when I bail someone out.
The Hennepin County attorney called out the Minnesota Freedom Fund for bailing Mosley out of jail twice previously, even though he was arrested for having a gun in the courthouse.
The Minnesota Freedom Fund, which pays cash bail for low-income criminals, paid Tims's entire $10,000 bail in cash. 11 days later, police found a man bleeding from the head and ears in this alley. Police were able to arrest Tims in connection to this violent assault.
Howard was arrested and charged with second-degree murder. The Minnesota Freedom Fund acknowledged supporting Howard's bail.
That's insane to me, to think about, protesters going down, and it happened a little bit here in Erie as well, but to think about how protesters, how do you justify destroying small businesses and destroying the city you live in and creating basically a third world country in your own little town? How do you justify that? That's not American. That's not American at all. So what else does this Tim Walz guy have on his rap sheet? It's getting better, I promise you. Not better, but getting worse, but it's getting better. So, what else does this guy have on his rap sheet? This guy is part of the most radical youth trans surgery laws in the country. Okay? This guy thinks that it's okay for a 10-year-old to have her breasts cut off without parental consent. It's absolutely a disgrace. The woke mind virus of this whole trans surgery, kids should be able to decide whether they're a boy or whether they're a girl, is absolutely toxic. Is toxic to the American culture, the true American culture. Tim Walz signed into law a bill that mandated tampons be put in the boys' restroom for boys as young as 10 years old. There's a trending hashtag right now on X called Tampon Tim. It's actually pretty funny because it's absolutely ridiculous. Why the hell does a 10-year-old boy need a freaking tampon in the men's room? What are these radical leftists putting in the minds of these kids? It's unhealthy. Elon Musk actually did an interview with Jordan Peterson a couple weeks ago where he talked about how the woke mind virus killed his son, literally. Check this out.
So I was tricked into doing this, and it wasn't explained to me that puberty blockers are actually just sterilization drugs. Anyway, and so I lost my son essentially. They call it dead naming for a reason.
Yeah.
All right. So the reason it's called dead naming is because your son is dead. So my son Xavier is dead, killed by the woke mind virus.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what that would be like.
So I vowed to destroy the woke mind virus after that. And we're making some progress.
Join the club.
Yeah.
So on top of advocating for kids to have sexual surgeries at the age of 10 years old and younger, this guy also wants to obviously help millions of illegals get into the country illegally, people who are unvetted, undocumented, people who we have no idea who they are. This guy wants to help them into the country. He wants to take your tax dollars and he wants to redistribute it to these illegals who are here illegally to lower the middle class down to a poverty level. If you see what's happening, you'll see that they want to lower the middle class to a lower class through wealth redistribution where everybody's in poverty. We've seen this happen in Venezuela. We've seen this happen in Cuba. This is how socialism works. This is how communism works. It's wealth redistribution to lower everybody to a poverty level, while the federal government has all the power and distributes that wealth. And you can imagine how that works out. Not very good. What else does this guy have on his rap sheet? Oh, this is a good one. Replace the state flag with the Somalian flag. Here's the video right here. Check this out. This guy is a traitor. Look at this video.
All right, ready. Whoa, wait a minute. There, that's better.
So the guy is basically an open socialist. He said so on camera. He supports communism. This Harris-Walz campaign is the most radical left campaign that has ever to be run in this country. They are going for broke. They're going all in. Kamala Harris has yet to do a media appearance or answer any questions on policies. Her campaign is completely propped up by the media, the mainstream media, And all these apps, these Silicon Valley apps are pushing the Kamala Harris campaign and making it appear that she is God's gift to this country and that she is going to restore America. And I promise you folks that that is not the plan of the deep state. That is not the plan of the radical left. But I digress. I don't want to get too far into one of my tangents tonight. I kind of wanted to stick with the facts, what I've seen come through, this guy's record, and where he stands on certain issues. Tim Walz and Kamala Harris support defunding the police. They fueled the Black Lives Matter riots in Minneapolis. Fact. He changed the Minnesota state flag to the Somalian flag. Fact. This dude pushes youth trans surgery and supports the hormone therapy to these kids, which really is sterilization drugs with suicidal effects. That's who they have chosen. And in my humble opinion, this is going to be absolutely detrimental to their campaign. This is a very miscalculated move on their part, thankfully. But I don't want people to get too comfortable and think that this is it. This is the win. This is going to be a battle to the end, friends. Saving this country is not going to be easy. It's not easy. I thank you guys for tuning in. I hope I was able to maintain my composure a little bit more this evening. I hope that you guys will stand up and say something. I hope that you will stand up for what you believe in. If you don't even know what you believe in, I think that you should take some time to really soul search and figure out where you stand on certain issues and what you want to see in this country. I really would like you guys to do that. But I am going to terminate this episode, and I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks again for tuning in. I appreciate all the love and support that you guys have been giving me on this. Don't let them take the fire of liberty from you, and I'll see you on the next one.